All right, let's look at practice problem number 2. For practice problem number 2, you have to select all the systems that have one solution. So, if the slopes are different, then the system of equations has one solution. Let's look at option number 1. Y equals 4x plus 5 and y equals 4x plus 8. Both of these equations have the same slope, 4 and 4. So they have the same slope and their y-intercepts are different. We have 5 and 8 for the intercepts. So there is no solution here. These are parallel lines. We would not check this off for having one solution. Let's look at the second item. The slopes here are 4 and -4. That's all we need to know. The slopes are different, therefore it has one solution. The y-intercepts do not matter. Let's look at option number 3. The slopes are 4 and 2. The slopes are different. That's all that matters. It has one solution. When you graph this, you will see intersecting lines, just like for the second option. Now, number 3 is a little tricky, okay? So when we look at number 3, we have to think about, number 4. We did number 2 and 3. For number 4 is a little tricky. It's not in slope-intercept form. That's why we prefer slope-intercept form, because we can figure out the slope and the intercept very quickly. So for number 4, you must find the slope of the lines, okay? Like I said, the lines are in standard form. That's ax plus by equals c. There is a formula for slope when you are given the equation in standard form, and that formula is m equals -a over b. Now, a is the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of y. Remember, you know when your equation is in standard form because the x term and the y term are on the same side of the equation and the constant is on the other side of the equation. So if we look at the first equation for number 4, option 4, we have 2x plus 2y equals 40. So the slope for this equation is going to be -2 over 2, the coefficient of x over the coefficient of y, and then it's going to be the opposite of whatever that is. So we have 2 over 2, the opposite is -1, the slope is -1. For the equation 2x plus 2y equals 15, the slope is the same. So both of these equations have the same slope, -1 and -1. And they have the same y. The y-intercepts are different. We know the y-intercepts are different because we know that we could cover up the x term and figure out the y-intercept. So 2 times y equals 40. Therefore, y will be 20. And so the y-intercept for this equation is 20. The y-intercept for this equation would be 2y equals 15. 2 times 7.5 would give you 15. Therefore, the y-intercept is 7.5. So we can say slopes, same, y-intercepts, different. There will be no solution here when you have the same slope, different y-intercepts. The lines are parallel. All right. So let's look at number 5. Number 5, once again, it is in standard form. So you have to actually find the slope and the y-intercept. We're going to use the slope formula instead of isolating y. Isolating y would take too long, and we can just use the formula, -a over b. So we have -2 over 2, which equals -1. And that's our slope for 2x plus 2y equals 40. We saw that in the previous item. Then for 6x plus 6y equals 120, we know the slope would be 6 over 6, and then take the opposite, which will give us -1. The opposite of 1 is -1. And then we can see the slopes are the same, -1 and -1. However, what is different about number 4, here in number 5 is that the y-intercepts are actually the same. If you go over here and look, if you cover up the x term, 2 times y gives you 40. That means that the y-intercept has to be 20. If you go over here and look, if you cover up the x term, 6y equals 120. That means that y is 20. So we have found that the slopes and the y-intercepts are the same. Therefore, this system has infinitely many solutions. These are coincidental lines, which means they are on top of each other. They are the same lines. All right, and last option, number 6. We have y equals 10x plus 4 and y equals 2 times the quantity 5x plus 2. As soon as you distribute this 2 to the 5x, you'll realize your slope is 10 because you're going to have y equals 10x. And then when you distribute this 2 to the 2, you're going to have 4. So you're going to have the same exact equation that you have right here. Well, if they're the same equation, then we know they have the same slopes and the same y-intercepts. So this system has infinitely many solutions. They are coincidental lines. So for this item right here, only the second choice and the third choice will be marked off because these are the only systems that have one solution.